Welcome to New Business in Later Life, where we prove that it's never too late to pursue your entrepreneurial dreams. You will meet remarkable individuals who launch successful businesses over 50, sharing their stories, challenges, and enthusiasm. Your host, Ildiko, is a former social housing professional, textile designer, and teacher who described herself as a life artist. She is now a property professional, business network host, and facilitator of the Entrepreneurs Club. Subscribe now to hear these inspiring stories every week.
You've made an effort for yourself, and I think that that's where the problem lies with many people nowadays, that we're so busy doing life, work, whatever, juggling family, etc. We forget about ourselves. And again, for
Absolutely.
me, the last year, I was always looking at, I did more for myself in the last 3 to 4 years anyway, but the last year I've literally learned to say no. And as I said, I removed people from my life that didn't serve me anymore. I removed people from my life that no malice, no nothing at all, but just thought, you know what, I don't need it. I don't need all this numbers of people. For me were just people that were there, didn't really interact. And it's just thought, I'm just gonna go and have my own circle, my circle of 10, my 10 people that are my people. And on the back of that, there'll be other people that I know. You're in my 10.
Oh, wow.
There'll be other
Thank
people
you.
There'll be other people that I know.
That's a privilege.
That are on the outside of that 10, and they're still good people. They're people that I know. It's like Shane. Shane's not in my immediate 10, but Shane's still part of the people that I know and I care about and I've worked with. But then the people that go beyond that, the way I see it is everyone. If everyone has their circle of 10, then we've all got them, and they've got their 10, and they've got their 10. And we can help each other in a way that is more
positive influences.
Positive and more informative and more structured, but without being salesy and pitchy and all that. Yeah. It's just life. And you think about, obviously for me, when my children were at school, I pretty much had that circle of 10, and it'd be parents. And then as your children grow up, you lose that circle, and then you find more people. But when I moved to Cornwall, I thought I needed to find the bloody world. I needed the whole of Cornwall to be liking me, because I was from Nottingham, and I'd been told you move there and no one's going to like you. And actually, I feel more at home here than I did in Nottingham.
Interesting.
And I've met so many nice people.
I had a similar thing going from corporate to business. So me being me and nosy and whatever, I've got my own ways and very structured and this and the other. I always found that working in offices, I never fitted in. I mean, a lot of it was actually kind of down to alcohol consumption, strangely, but that was my perception anyway. So I would go out with colleagues, but I wasn't drinking at the time, and they would never invite me again because I was no fun to be with. Or I don't know, maybe because I don't know, I was just... I know I was kind of a slightly different person back at the time, but it's just the way it was. But I never made friends. So I moved here to Plymouth from London about 17, coming up to 18 years ago. Yeah. And then for many years still, I worked in a corporate environment and never really made friends. And then went off to university. Again, it was a very different environment because I would then go to a lot of art exhibitions. So I had a bit more of a community. Yeah. But since I've entered the business environment and I go business networking, my goodness, the attitude of people is just so different. Yeah. But it's maybe because everybody is very lonely in their own little business, and then we come together at these networking events. People are so helpful. And that is something that I never experienced in corporate. The deep helpfulness. But then somebody once said as a sort of semi-joke that, because we are all reading the same self-discovery or self-development books, which could be true. Yeah. But then we are all learning exactly the same things, how you help others, and then they come and help you. And it's then completely mutual. While at work, in a corporate world, there is this competition of who's going to get the next promotion and so on.
And you're just forced with those people, aren't you? Because then all said and done, you can, I think in any environment that you're in, if you go to a networking event, if you're working in an office, wherever it is, there will be people that straight away you click, and they will not just be somebody that you've met and can network with. They will be somebody that you consider a friend. You could have a conversation with them that is outside of the work life. And I think that's where it's the same wherever it is, whether it's networking, whether it's in the playground or whatever. And so, but in an office environment,
Yeah.
you literally have got like, well, I don't know, 10, 20 people around you, and you know, there'll be the one odd or two that you'll connect with, but then you're almost like expected to be friends with them full on, and you're there, and it's forced and it's not real, and that's
I've never been like a fashion following, or as I say, going out drinking and that kind of stuff. So I never really fitted in on any level. And of course, being foreign and
you're not foreign, are you?
culturally different. You know, my upbringing was very different. You know, I can't change that. I grew up in a very different culture, and I expressed that in ways that I don't actually express quite so strongly anymore. I can't say I've shed that, because I'll never shed my Hungarianness.
Yeah.
But
that's you.
Through the self-development, I've come to realise why people have thought before that I was quite abrupt and nosy and know-it-all, and I just presented differently, in a more sort of toned down way, or in a lot more caring way. So I feel I've grown loads since I've been involved in business.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly grateful for that.
How does that make you feel though, like that you've got to tone down your natural...
Oh, good.
Does
Feels
it feel
really,
good? Yeah.
really, really good, because I've come to realise that they were all learned personality traits. You don't have to be that.
No.
Just because it was part of your upbringing, and that's what you saw your parents do, your teachers do, your peers do. It's not necessarily you.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the major learnings was that I was always a big girl before, and I had to train myself not to actually say that anymore, because I learned through somebody's little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a challenge. It was like a New Year challenge last year. A lady who helps people lose weight not through nutrition and exercise, but through mentally sorting yourself out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I started to do that little challenge. And one of the things was have a think back to childhood. And I opened up a book and I started journaling on it. And I wrote pages and pages and pages of things. And one of the major things I realized that my mum always used to compare me to my two aunties. Now, my two aunties are rather large, well, very tall, large ladies.
Yeah.
And in Hungarian, there's actually a really derogative word for a large woman. So my mum used to just call them that and say, oh, you look like them. So from literally as far as I can remember, like tiny toddler or whatever, as I was growing up, like I can actually remember back to about age 6. And then years and years and all my life, you look like them. So she conditioned me to look like them. And then 10 years ago, I drastically changed my diet, went from being a vegetarian for a couple of decades and losing the sentimental values of that to eating meat again. So I now eat a lot more meat and vegetables rather than just carbohydrates all the time. And I lost a lot of weight and I kept it off. And then it took me many years to realize that it's not my genetics that kept me fat. And it's only last year, like 10 years later, when I fully realized that it really isn't genetics that kept me fat. It was that mental conditioning that my mum did for years upon years and years, not even realizing it, obviously, because she didn't know that. And now, 10 years down the line, I don't have to say that I used to be a big girl. There was a period of my time when I was larger than I should have been. And now I'm perfectly happy and comfortable in my skin.